Okay, so we had our final preseason game yesterday against the Miami Dolphins, and we lost 48-10. We didn't play our starters for the second straight game. No Jalen Hurts, no Devontae Smith, no A.J. Brown, those guys. And defense, we had no Darius Slade Jr., we had no Jordan Davis. We did get Nakobe Dean get a little bit of playing time. We didn't bring our starters in on either side of the ball. We only gave our guys that were fighting for the 53-man roster spot playing time, which I did say in my preview, and I said in my live stream last week on Wednesday that I did think the Eagles should focus on giving the guys looking to make roster spots playing time so they can get a better assessment of those guys in deciding who's going to be on the roster, who's going to be on the practice squad, and who they're going to part ways with. So I did think it was a good idea for the Eagles to do that, get those guys playing time, so they can make a better decision there in deciding, what they're going to do there. So I do think that was a good idea right there. However, what we saw from those guys, really nothing that caught my eye, really. The only things that really caught my attention really was Jason Huntley's 67-yard touchdown run. And, he did have 11 carries, total 93 yards. But then again, one of those carries was a 67-yard touchdown. So I feel like Jason Huntley, he at least did enough to at least make the practice squad if it were up to me. But we will have to see come Tuesday when they do make their final roster moves by 4 p.m., which, by the way, I will do a live stream Wednesday once the 53-man roster is official. Well, I'll discuss that, so be on the lookout for that Wednesday. So I was impressed with Jason Huntley's 67-yard touchdown run. Nothing really else that impressed me, really. Nothing that really stood out to me is like, oh, wow, that was awesome. Beside that Jason Huntley touchdown run. Now, fortunately, this was a preseason game. And as far as some of the guys that were playing, especially your second and third string guys, especially on the defensive side, that struggled all game against the Dolphins, even well after their starters were pulled from the game throughout the second, third, and fourth quarter. Look, some of those guys ain't even going to be on the roster, so we're not going to have to worry about them. But at the same time, here's my thing. And some of you are probably thinking the same thing, too. Is that if some of these guys were struggling against the Dolphins, they're going to be on the roster. If heaven forbid we get some of our key players on the defense side of the ball go down with injuries, heaven forbid we got to play some of those guys. My optimism on how they're going to fare out is low after yesterday's performance. That being the guys that were out there playing yesterday that will be on the roster or on the practice squad that might get bumped up if an injury occurs. So I didn't see anything there that made me optimistic. Actually, I was a little bit worried in that regard. But to be fair, some of those guys won't be there. But then again, some of these guys might have to play. And based off the individual performance last night, nothing really that gave me optimism if that worst case scenario occurs. So really, there's not much else to say right there. And I do think, I'm still on it, Deon Cain, I think, at least should get a spot on the practice squad. I would have liked to have seen Devin Allen play a little bit more to see what he can do, especially with that speed. But it's just like, there's not much to take away from it, except I do think Jason Huntley, Deon Cain should at least get practice squad spots. I mean, maybe, it's Josh Blackwell. Some of those other guys might there'll at least be some guys get some practice squad spots. But we will have to see what happens. Ultimately, the trade, not the trade deadline, excuse me. The 53-man roster must be decided by 4 p.m. Tuesday. We will see what the Eagles do. I'll be here live on YouTube Wednesday to talk about it. Everyone that watched, thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, drop a like to help out with the algorithm. If you're new, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you took away from this preseason game, good and bad. Most of all, have a wonderful Sunday. It is Nicky Stees, and I'm